The shocking truth behind the CJ McCollum trade will not only surprise you, but also give you some insight on how the Pelicans are trying to build a roster that will contend next season and also build into the future. We're going to take a look at the trade and also the implications on this franchise inside this edition of Pelicans Digest. What's good with it, everybody? I'm Melz On The MIC, and thanks for tuning in to Pelicans Digest. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, baby. We would love for you to get your daily dose of Pelicans content right here, and I'm going to be giving it to you with not only my opinions, my analysis, and so much more about my favorite NBA team, the New Orleans Pelicans. So if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on everything that's going on with the Pelicans as we get ready for next season, and also getting ready for the NBA draft, with Joe Dumars making a whole lot of major moves over the last 2 weeks to get the Pelicans going from not only one draft pick to 3 draft picks in the upcoming NBA draft, and also gives the team some flexibility to make some moves before next season starts, and also make some moves during the season if needed. And the first move was already done last week, and now this week they're making a move to get rid of CJ McCollum, unfortunately. Now, I know CJ was a fan favorite amongst Pels fans because he came at a time when the Pelicans really were looking for their ground as far as their rebuild going, with their rebuild, when they drafted Zion Williamson after the Anthony Davis trade. CJ came in, and I think he served his purpose during his time here. He brought some veteran leadership, some stability, and brought some great information to a lot of the younger players, including Zion, also Trey Murphy III, and also Jose Alvarado and Herb Jones. But now those guys are veterans as well in their own right, and they've had a few years under their belt in the NBA. And now I think it was time for you to send CJ to another situation, mainly because, and the real reason, because it has to do with salary cap. And we're going to get in there in a second, but first, let's take a breakdown of this trade according to Shams. The New Orleans Pelicans are trading CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, and a future second-round pick to the Washington Wizards for Jordan Poole, Saddiq Bey, and the number 40 pick. Now, when you look at the Pels salary cap situation headed into next season, you had to let CJ McCollum go for one of the myriad of reasons. One of them is he's 30-something years old and coming on the final year of his contract where he was set to make over $30 million. But also, you had a situation with Kelly Olynyk's contract. Kelly Olynyk was set to make $13 million next season, and he really wasn't a contributing factor to the team. And plus, he's also a grizzled old veteran, if you want to call him that. So it was only right to try to get those salaries off your roster in exchange for younger money and better situations for amongst his players. But let's take a deeper look at the Pels salary cap situation as I just explained it. The Pelicans were listed as having a $176 million payroll headed into the trade. Now, when you let go of McCollum's $30 million and Olynyk's $13 million, and send that to Washington, and instead pick up Jordan Poole's money along with Saddiq Bey's contract and a draft pick as well for tonight's draft, you're trading in $44 million in salary for $37.9 million in salary. And therefore, you're losing $6.2 million, bringing their total down to roughly $169 million for next year. And that puts them over the $15 million salary cap for next season. But they will be well under the projected luxury tax. And let me tell you something about this New Orleans Pelicans team. They don't want to pay the luxury tax to save their life. Gail Benson has made it clear ever since she bought this team. She doesn't want a roster that's going to go over the luxury tax. So Joe Dumars clearly is sticking to that plan by making sure that you get off those contracts of not only CJ McCollum, but mainly Kelly Olynyk's contract. That was going to be a big albatross as far as this team trying to make some moves going into next season. But also, another important factor you got to realize is, because I saw somebody put on social media, you're trading older mid for younger mid. CJ McCollum and Jordan Poole. And that's just not the case. Jordan Poole is coming off career highs last season with the Washington Wizards, but you don't know about it. You probably still think he's just a ball hog, clown prince of the NBA because he was just on a bad team. But when you take a look at his numbers, you're going to see that this was really a great trade as far as the Pelicans go, almost damn near a fleecing, if you will. He's coming off career highs, having 20 points per game, 3 rebounds a game, and 4 assists per game. But when you compare that to CJ McCollum, yeah, CJ McCollum's numbers are slightly better, but you also have to remember that he is older. He's 35 compared to Jordan Poole's 28. And if you have a chance to trade an aging player for an ascending player, you have to take advantage of that situation. Now, as far as his contract is concerned, you're going to pay $1 million more for that youth. Okay, you have to pay $1 million more for that youth, but at the same time, his contract is going to be about $34 to $35 million next season, and he has a chance to prove if he's worth that money. Because if he is, well, you got him locked in for another season at that contract, and you also got a chance to really compete and contend right now in the Western Conference with Jordan Poole as your point guard. Plus, he fills in an immediate need right now at your position with DeJounte Murray still going to miss probably roughly the start of the season, if not half of the season, coming off of his injury. So this was, again, a smart move by the Pelicans. But also, you got to look at the contract for Saddiq Bey. Very friendly contract when you look at it in the terms of he's only going to be here for 2 years and $12 million, $6 million a season. That gives the team flexibility to make some moves just in case they need to make some trades during the season. And also it gives you a quality player to back up Zion Williamson, or also fill in for Zion Williamson if something happens to him during the season with him being injury prone as well. So again, this was a great trade for Joe Dumars and the Pelicans, and also gives you a little more insight into what the Pelicans are thinking at this time. He's probably thinking with these trades that if I make this trade right now, I could get Jordan Poole on the floor and then have a backcourt with Jordan Poole and DeJounte Murray heading into the second half of the season. And then you still got Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, and Zion Williamson, and Yves Messi at the center position. So that sounds like a pretty good lineup on paper. But of course, you have to remember, if this team can stay healthy, this team could, as it's currently constructed, could possibly contend in the Western Conference next season, and also have a bunch of great friendly under the cap contracts headed into the future. That also leads to the question of what's going to happen with the draft tonight. The Pelicans, with this trade, now picks up a 3rd draft pick headed into the NBA draft. The 2025 draft, that is. You're now picking with 2 first-round picks and 1 in the second round. So the question here is, what do you do with the Pelicans at these picks? Do you want to try to trade them off and try to go get another player, another superstar? Or do you use all 3 of these picks and see what kind of situations that you can develop, especially in point guard, backup center, wing? You can add some much needed depth to this team going into next season and the seasons ahead. So it's going to be a lot. So Joe Dumars has a lot on his plate, and we're going to keep you updated about it all right here on Pelicans Digest. But let me know what your thoughts are on this trade. Do you like this trade? I personally love it. I personally love it. I think it sets the team up for the future and the long term, and also gets us back into contention immediately this season. But what are your thoughts? Share your thoughts in the comments, and also make sure you hit that subscribe button while you're at it. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and subscribe to Pelicans Digest so you can get your daily dose of Pelicans content right here. And once again, thanks to the good folks at Digest Media for bringing me on. And also in the next video that we're going to come out with, we're going to talk about the Pelicans draft and also some of the implications from that draft and how the Pelicans can move forward with this team.